his tweets go viral when he talks about one coin. Everything that he does, I mean, from his surname to every word to his relationships over the years to whatever he has said, everything has become controversial, but
Everything's big news.
everything's news about him. Ladies and gentlemen, today we've got on the show none other than the legendary John McAfee.
How are you doing, John?
Hey John, thank you so much for doing this interview in such a short notice. Welcome to the show, John.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
So John, one of the first things that I want to ask you is, the media over the years has called you with so many different adjectives. Who is the real John McAfee? Are so many controversies?
Yeah.
Is it right to connect you with so many controversies? Tell us today, John, who is the real John McAfee?
I don't know. I mean, you don't know. No one knows who they are day by day because everything changes. I'm someone who simply tells it like I see it. I tell the truth as I see it. If you tell the truth, you're going to anger a lot of people because you make people look at themselves. So as a result, I have many enemies. I am fascinated by humanity, its culture, its technology. And so I delve into it. I search myself, my neighbors, my wife, the people who work with me. And if you do that, you're going to get a very odd reputation, and that's what I have.
Great. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, John, I just want to ask you, a lot of people have been talking about cryptocurrencies as a bubble. What do you think? Do you think it's a bubble, or do you think it's just going to keep going up from now?
Well, if you've watched for the past 4 days, we had a crisis. All the cryptocurrencies across the board went down, some of them by 50%, some of them by 75%.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I went and I told the world, I said, don't worry, it's temporary cryptocurrency, because the problem was one of the America's largest banks, JP Morgan, and by the way, banks have the most to lose if cryptocurrencies succeed, went on and said all of the world governments will ban cryptocurrencies. I go, well, how are they going to enforce it? You cannot. You cannot enforce a ban on something that you cannot monitor. And you would have one enforcement officer for every citizen that you have. See the. So
speaking of
no,
being able to ban
it could.
something,
Please do not panic. The man is talking out of his ears. He does not understand. Well, what happened? Yesterday, it all stopped, and it's moving back up. Bitcoin is at 12,000. Ethereum is nearly 1,100. And remember, 3 weeks ago, Ethereum was $700. Okay, now 1,100, and we thought, well, this is all crashed. Please God, look at the history. Look at where we stand. We are going to continue to grow. There is no bubble.
And speaking of this entire concept of bubble, John, you've seen what certain governments are doing, and look at our Indian government, and some of the officials have gone on to record and say Bitcoin is not even a legal tender. Cryptocurrencies, and look at what JP Morgan and all these big banks are saying. I mean, the financial ecosystem currently doesn't believe in the concept of cryptocurrency. Do you think this will always remain a bubble, as he was asking, or is this something real? So something will make sense out of it in the next 5-10 years?
Of course, but how will they do it? This is what I'm saying. First, wallets are coming out that have distributed exchanges within them. It's not like China that banned all of the exchanges in China. If you're centralized as an exchange, you can shut off the electricity, arrest the people, take the computers, whatever. But what if wallets as a decentralized system become the exchange mechanisms?
So, John, I just want to ask you, do you think cryptocurrencies can ever become an alternate to fiat currencies? I mean, is there ever going to be a version of our world where Bitcoin is normal tender?
Of course, they are already doing that. I just bought a house with cryptocurrency. I bought a car with crypto. There's nothing eventually that you cannot
What do you
cryptocurrencies.
say to
When
people?
that you have to ask, why would you ever use a fiat currency to purchase anything, except maybe a cup of coffee? But even then, that will be tokenized, and you can go into a Starbucks or any coffee place and buy coffee with currencies. So, absolutely, in 5 years' time, there won't be no fiat currency. Who will possibly use the US dollar given the inconvenience of using it for
So, having said all of that, what's your favorite coin, man?
Yeah.
What's the next big coin? Where should we bet next?
well, I think Bitcoin has been the standard bearer, the gold standard of cryptocurrencies for years. Ethereum going to replace that as a currency. Ethereum is fast. It is the transaction fees are inconsequential. It's a very easy system. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going away. I think Bitcoin has become a store of value. It's kind of like gold as a store of value. But here's the issue. We're getting 200 to 300 new ICO every month. And within these ICOs are true jewels, gems, treasures of creativity and utility. One of these is will replace everything that's here today. But we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Nero, and standing see further and create.
So, John, like we were talking about, the financial institutions seem to be on one side of this argument. They're pretty much, well, it costs them a lot to take on Bitcoin, take on cryptocurrencies. So I just want to know, how do they look at you now that you are the pioneer of cryptocurrencies?
Have you faced, and the thing is, you're on one side of the coin, and there are so many other people, so many CEOs of big financial institutions who are like, we don't believe in this.
Exactly.
This is just a bubble. This is just a fake thing happening. What kind of setback have you faced from the Wall Street?
Have you seen any pushback from Wall
Exactly.
Street?
What does Wall Street think of John McAfee?
Okay, we're seeing a new paradigm that's being created mostly by young people. Wall Street, unfortunately, will never understand this. They are too entrenched at an older paradigm that no longer functions. I think only the young will be able to appreciate what is happening, understand its utility, and abandon the old principles, the old techniques, and the old beliefs that cannot function in a world of distributed and, more importantly, permissionless. We don't need permission to do what we're doing. It's a society.
So, John, we've been talking about financial institutions and how they treat cryptocurrencies. But recently, there's been this huge burst of speculation, right? So, the futures on NASDAQ and all the other exchanges. What do you think of that? Do you think it's right that financial institutions are treating cryptocurrencies as assets rather than currencies?
Correct.
Well, Bitcoin will always increase in value. I'm one of the world's 5 largest miners of Bitcoin. And I have over 6,000 S9s running full time. So I do understand Bitcoin very well, but the mining is going to disappear, and the coins that are out there are going to increase in value as the supply of mining Bitcoins decreases. So it will always be around. It will always be around. I'm not sure Bitcoin will be used as a currency. It may be a place to store value. But the really important things are the new ICOs that are coming out, where young kids are creating and imagining system, cultures, technology, social structures that have never been imagined before. And I get to read all of these white papers. They astonish me. The blockchain is going to be far more than a financial tool. It is going to change the structure of society.
We've been talking about cryptocurrencies, the legality related to it across Asia, across the world. But let me step aside from that a little bit. You also are big time into privacy and things like that. And you did launch your hack proof phone, so to say, last year. What's the update on that?
How's it doing?
Exactly. How's it doing?
The blockchain is the answer to all of our security problems. If you think about it, what does the blockchain do? It validates an individual and a transaction. So if you have a hacker in your system, for example, hackers always remove or erase all traces of their presence. If your system is based on the blockchain, that's no longer possible. I'm sorry, it can't be. So it has to be the greatest security tool to ever, arrive on the planet. So I move from security to the blockchain. This is a very natural progression because the blockchain will be the foundation of all security in the future.
So, Sean, this has been very interesting. But before we let you go, we have to ask you one question. If there was ever going to be a movie about John McAfee,
Yes.
the man, the myth, the legend, who
Correct.
would play Mr. McAfee?
Correct.
Well, actually, it's odd that you asked that. MGM is creating a movie of my life called King of the Jungle, and Johnny Depp was chosen. Johnny Depp was chosen as the man to play the part. So I think Johnny Depp will do a good job.
Correct. Also, John, we want to understand you also run Future Tense Central. Could you explain to us what kind of startups are under Future Tense Central currently? How many startups are there currently?
How is it doing in general?
Exactly.
Well, absolutely. In fact, I'm advising a company, a new ICO called Hacken, Hacken. It is a group of white hat hackers that have created a token that can be used by businesses, individuals, to use white hat hackers to combat black hat hackers. I think that's a terrific idea. But in every area of our lives, there are new ICOs, new concepts, new tokens, and new coins that are being created. One's being created right now, I'm sure. It's just that most of our attention is being placed on the blockchain world and up and coming blockchain companies. Yeah, we're still in business. You bet.
Thank you, John, so much for doing this interview. It's been a pleasure talking to you and for giving us views on cryptocurrency and security and likewise.
Talking us through everything.
Exactly. Thank you, John, so much, and have a nice flight ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. And thanks for inviting me on again.